Good morning and welcome back to my channel. My name is Leonie, aka Stitching Noni, and this is my cross stitch channel. It is also a very special day today because it's the 16th of May, which means I'm halfway through the month. I'm halfway through Stitch Mania. I've done 10 starts. So if you've watched previous videos, you would know that I had planned to do 20 starts for Stitch Mania this year, for 2020. My plan though is not to do 20 starts in days 1 to 20. It was to do the 20 starts over the 4 weeks. So we're just working 5 starts per week, Monday through to Friday. And so far I have managed to get through and do the first 2 weeks. Plans had changed slightly. In my first video I mentioned that I was going to do a week of Shepherd's Bush, and that didn't happen, and that now won't happen. I still plan to do the Shepherd's Bush ornaments at some point, but I've got to get hold of that first one because I would really like to do them as a group of 5, starting off with the 2000 years ago, but it'll be 2020 years ago. So I am just getting hold of that chart at some point, and then I'll do the others. It may be that I do have to start those ones and leave the gap at the top, but I'd rather wait until I get that chart before I do that. So plans changed. What's new? Plans always change. So last week you saw the video that I did. My first week was all of with a needle and thread charts. So because I had to make a little change, I went through my stash and I had a look and I thought, well, what other group of charts can I do? Because I like the idea of having this themed. And Plum Street Samplers. I have a number of Plum Street Samplers charts that I have been wanting to do. So I then spent some time on Saturday and Sunday just working through what ones I want to do. And they actually changed even on the day when I picked them. I put a couple back and pulled the other ones out. So there, I've got the Addams Family. I've got all of the weenies. I've got a couple of other different types, pomegranate senator, and yeah, all sorts. So I had quite a range to actually choose from. So that's what actually makes it harder when you've got a lot to choose from. In the end, I decided to do 2 weenies. I was going to do 4 weenies and I was going to do clementine. So I would sort of do 2 weenies, clementine, and then 2 more weenies. And then I looked in my thread stash and I don't have the orange for clementine. And Clementine's the cat, that's the orange cat. And then I thought, well, I could stitch them in the colour of the boys. And then I thought, but it looks so good with the orange cat. So Clementine's gone back in the stash box and will come out another time because at some point I'll order the proper, I can't remember what colour it goes for, some lovely variegated orange. So that meant I still wanted to do weenies. So I picked the 2 of my favourite weenies and the ones I've got the most threads for, because I'm trying to make sure I do them in the called for threads. I know some of them's probably not quite as variegated, but I still just want to try and stick to the called for threads. So I've got 2 weenies, which then meant I had to rethink what else I was going to do. So what I'll do is I'll start with weenies and then I'll show you what else I've done. So my first weenie was this one. I love this. I think this is just so gorgeous. So this is the yellow polka dot big weenie. The colours, everything, I just adore this. This is such a sweet little picture. So that was the first one. I started this one on Monday, the 11th of May, and my original plan was to spend half an hour max on all of these starts and try and work on a whip. But yeah, once I start stitching these at night, I just want to keep going. So we have been just keeping on going. This has actually had 2 stitching sessions because I'm using this for a challenge. I can't remember which one did I say I was using it for. Can't remember now, but I'm using it for one of the challenges. Yeah, can't remember. It's either daily 30 or something. So I've actually now done 270, 280 stitches on this one. So this is my gorgeous, gorgeous big weenie. Have I got it up the right way? Yep, I've got it up the right way. I'm stitching this on Mallow. Did I stitch this on Mallow as well? Yes, Mallow. So picture this plus 36 count Mallow with the called for threads. And that's as far as we've got so far. So just that front little hydrant at the front. that was start number 6 for Stitch Mania. Where am I going to put these? I'll stick them there. So hence it's still in the Q snap because I'm still going to work on it. I might try and get that challenge. I think I've only got like about 20 stitches left on the challenge, I suspect. I think so. But yeah, so I'll get them knocked off and I'll put that away until next time, or it might stay out, who knows. So then on Tuesday the 12th of May was start number 2 for the week, which was also start number 7 for the Stitch Mania. I did work on Bikini a little bit, and then I pulled out the next weenie, which was a teeny weenie. This one, I think, was this the first one I ever bought? This is close to one of the first the weenies I ever bought. It was either that one or I can't remember the other one. But this was, I'm pretty sure this is one of the first weenies I bought. I just think this is so cute. My husband loves Dackies, so that was the original plan, was to buy this and stitch it for him. But of course, we never got around to doing that, so now we're doing them. So, teeny weenie. I love this. Just so sweet. Now, what I did with this one is, because I started on the hydrant on the other one, I thought I'm not going to stitch another hydrant. So I just basically counted up, because the hydrant's pretty close to the lettering. So fingers crossed I've done this right. Counted up to the lettering, and here we are. So we've just started doing almost weenies, almost finished. Let me just fold that so we haven't got light behind. This is on a 36 count Picture This Plus Truffle. There we go. So that's it. That's weenie. So we actually, it was one of the nights that husband sat up to do a webinar. It was a US webinar, so it was like starting at 11 o'clock our time at night. So I thought, well, I'm going to keep stitching. So that's why I ended up having two actual big stitching nights on Tuesday night. So that was that one. So that's my gorgeous, gorgeous weenie. I love this. This is actually really pretty, this fabric. It's quite a nice one. So that one has had 223 stitches, so that's not bad. That was a good start. Then we came to Wednesday the 13th of May. So I'd done 2 weenies by this stage. And I thought, well, I could bring out a third weenie, or I could start something. And this is where the dilemma started for me, because I had a number of charts for Plum Street samplers that I really wanted to stitch. One I've had kitted up for so long, but I've almost been scared to start it. And I thought, now, start it. So guess what? I started it. And this is Cinnamon Stars. So I've had this kitted, I think I must have kitted up about 2 years ago. And it has been sitting in a project bag all this time, and I have been scared to start it because of this house. It's just like, oh boy. But now that I've sort of done a few more of these type of houses and the 36 count, I'm actually sort of looking forward to stitching this house now. And it is really, you know, it's not so scary after all once you start them. So, and it's weird because I actually thought it was huge because it looks huge, but then, yes, it is huge, but then it's not really. So this one was my 13th of May start. So technically I should have done a Halloween one. I'm sort of saying that this is not really Halloween, but it's got pumpkins and it's fall, so it falls into sort of Halloween, but it's not. It's not really dark 13 stitching at all. And make sure I've got this up the right way, because that's all I've done. Let's turn that around that way. Is a bit of the house. And that's it. But we're getting there. I've stitched this on 36 count Tycho from Picture This Plus. I just thought it's got a yellowy grey sort of background, so I thought that would hopefully be quite nice. It's not as yellow as obviously the one that they used. I can't remember what the called for is. The called for was chamomile tea, 35 count chamomile tea, so I'm doing on 36, but I quite like that. It was actually a nice start, and it was a reasonably simple start in sense that I started in the house and started on the middle of the house and was like, oh my god, the house, it's a scary thing, but I can do this. So yeah. So I ended up doing 173 stitches on Cinnamon Star on Wednesday night. So then we came to Thursday. Now Thursday, during the day, I had to do some training, online training. So I'm teaching, well, I shouldn't say I'm teaching myself, but as part of my role at work, I've picked up some extra work because I'm not particularly busy. I haven't got international travel to book at the moment. So that's a big part of my normal role, is booking travel. And obviously we're not doing travel. So I put my hand up to help other teams out with some stuff. So one of the other teams in our area, the engineering team, needs help with document management, and one of their girls is about to go on maternity leave, and a part of their job is using SharePoint and sorting out access for people and creating SharePoint sites. I've never used SharePoint. Well, I've used SharePoint to upload and store documents, but I've never used SharePoint as far as the back end goes. I know what it is, but I thought, well, I better start learning something about it. And the girls are also going to teach me what I need to do. But I spent Thursday afternoon stitching and watching SharePoint videos. So I thought, well, yeah, I've got to sit there and watch a video. I might as well sit there and stitch at the same time. If I was at work, I would have just had to sit there and like fall asleep while I was watching the video. But at least by doing some stitching, it was keeping me awake, and I can do two things at once. So I worked on a whip when I was doing that. I didn't want to do a new start, and it was a mindless sort of whip stitching, so that was all right. So my new start then for Thursday night was another Plum Street. And now this one, I should have started this one on the Wednesday, but of course didn't think, because I started a bowl full of Scary 2. So this probably should have been my more Halloween start on the 13th, but that's okay. This one got started on the 14th. I managed to do 165 stitches on my little Scary, and this is where it's at the moment. So all I've done is worked on Mr. Nutter Butter. If anyone watches John Oliver, they will know who Mr. Nutter Butter is, but it's a squirrel. And that's it. So I've done the squirrel's head, and we've started on the body of the raven. I suppose it's a raven. It looks like a raven. And that's it. This is also on Pitch This Plus Mallow. So I'm really used up all my mallow now. I think this was the last piece of mallow that I had. So again, 36 count. And that's it. So 168 stitches. And that one was done. I don't have a lot of the threads for that one. I've actually only got the orange and the black for that. So it will be probably just sitting there for a little while. Most of it is orange and black. And there's some, I think, yeah, I have two others, but they're in other projects. So at some point they will swap over. And it's one of the things, doing part of this is I've had to actually sit down and sort out my stash a bit better. So I've spent time going through all my Week Style works and my Classic Colour works and my GAST and sorting them all out, because they're generally just sitting in all the projects where I've kitted them up. And some I've remembered to record in the Cross Stitch app, and others I haven't. So I've been sitting down, working out, I can share this one between these two projects because it only needs this amount in it and this one needs a bit more. So I'm writing down where I can share them. So yeah, I'm getting organised. Working from home is sort of like helping me get organised. It's awesome. I just want to keep this going. I like working from home. Did you hear me say that? I like working from home. Okay, so last start, which was last night, was Pomegranate Santa. And another one I have had sitting in my stash for quite a while and wanting to start at some point. Again, another one that I sort of thought scares me because of all of the... But it'll be fine. Yeah, just do a little bit at a time. It'll be fine. So I started this, and I think I had three of the colours for this one. But I thought, that's okay. It's enough. So I've got Weeping Willow and I have got Sunkissed, which is his face, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'll pull that out when I need that. And I've Muddy Puddle I've got in another chart. So again, once I work out how much I need, I can do that one. Hickory Sticks, I need some more hickory sticks but I'm not going to worry too much about hickory sticks on that at the moment. But I had used brick, so which is fine because the used brick is the lighter of the red. It's the lighter of the red? Yeah, it's the lighter of the red, which means I've got quite a bit to get on with just having those two threads. And how much did I do last night? Well, I did 177 stitches. So 177 stitches is that. And that's it. So this one I have also used Tyco for. So it's the same fabric as Cinnamon Stars. So 36 count. Picture this plus Tyco. And that is just Weeping Willow. Yes. Which is just all of the first part of the coming up into here. So that's as far as we've got with that start. Not a big start, but it was good. I enjoyed doing that. So all of those are now started. So that is 5 Plum Street sampler starts, which means I better finish my goat load really quickly so that I can actually start knocking off a couple of things. So I am now at what did I say? 12 or 13 starts for the year and 10 finishes for the year. So I need to, I think it's 13 starts for the year. Am I at 13 starts? Yes, I'm now at 13 starts for the year and 10 finishes. So it's starting to creep up. So I need to get myself working on some whips this weekend. I will do a couple of those where I need to finish the challenges, and you will then see what else I've done on those in my next update video, which will probably be, I think what I'll do is I'll probably do it at the end of the month. We'll just see. I may do it next week. We'll just see how we go. Because I haven't got a lot of whip stuff because I literally have been doing the new starts. So we will work on that next week. Well, so I'm rethinking again my Stitch Mania plans. But I am sticking with, I think, the idea that next week will be my free, the Be Well free charts that were put out. I've got a number of those that I would really like to stitch. So I think that will possibly be next week's start. And then week 4. So week 4, I don't know now what I'm going to do. But I am itching to start a few other things. So week 4 might be, rather than a theme as in a particular designer, it may be themed like, I want to start these. I have to start these. And it might be something like that. So it might be a mirror in there. There might be a Joan Elliott or something like that. So we'll see how we go. There's also, I've got a couple of kits that I want to start. So maybe it might be kit week. I might just do Mill Hills and Dimensions kits, maybe. I don't know. I'll think about that. So it'll be a surprise probably, because I probably won't think about it until the week before, and Saturday and Sunday I'll be sitting there going, oh, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, so this is it. This is a really short video. I'll just do hardly any editing on this one because there's no before and after. Well, there's no before pictures because they're all new starts. So I will finish off this now. I'll go and edit it, and hopefully it will be up in the next couple of hours, and I will be whipping away. And who knows, I might get it finished this weekend. It is actually International Hermit and Stitch Weekend, so I would like to have a finish for International Hermit and Stitch Weekend. It would be an awesome thing to finish the weekend off with. We'll see how we go. Enjoy your weekend, and I will be back this time next week for another update on Stitch Mania. Take care, happy stitching, be well, and stay safe. Bye.